Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Good morning, top of the morning, sunny California. It's going to be hot today, like 90 degrees. Okay, well, what can I say? We just deal with it like we dealing with everything else in Southern California. You're listening to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you always live with nothing but straight talk. Yes, straight talk. That's how we do it around here. Nothing but straight talk. My co-hosts are the wonderful, the fabulous Mr. Keith Swanson, radio personality within his own right. He's the man that everybody's been looking for. They want to know, who is this Keith? What does he look like? Keith showed up at Black Riders on Tour, you guys. It was on Zoom. And I guess the people didn't know who to look for. He wasn't wearing a sign on his back, so they still asking about who is Keith. Keith, that was kind of cowardly. You know they were looking for you, so you really should have had hat on your head that said, "This is Keith." You should have done something. You
put
just
a big old sign around like that.
Right.
A big sign. I'm Keith.
Exactly. And they said, I thought you said Keith was going to show up. I said he did.
I
We
did.
didn't see him. Well, he was still in disguise, but folks, Keith is really real. So next year, 2022, we'll be on site someplace, with Black Riders on Tour, and you'll get to see him close up and in person. Then you'll know him. I'm going to have a suit made that has Keith Swanson front and back. In fact, I'm going to make a jumpsuit. It's going to be a jumpsuit.
Now for years when I showed up, for years I showed up, even did talks, nobody actually looked for me. As soon as I stopped, guess what? I guess you want what you can't have, huh?
I guess so.
Exactly.
When somebody just said Keith should have worn a black cowboy hat. Ah!
A big old 10-gallon hat that goes way up to the sky. Huh?
No, just wearing a black cowboy hat. They were like, "Oh my God, is that Keith?
I know.
Keith, is that you?
Okay.
Keith."
All right. Well,
Paparazzi, Keith.
you're going to know him next time. You guys will know him. My other co-host is the fabulous, the wonderful Shawannah Bordenay. She's a real estate guru, and she's looking for property. You guys know anybody's got property for sale. She says she will buy it. So, in fact, I'm going to give her number straight up front. Shawannah, give them your telephone number because they might be ready to call you right now about a house.
Oh, okay. I'm here. 310-420-9046. That's 310-420-9046.
Yeah, it may be a good time.
And
to
if they,
sell.
even if they, yeah, I
Maybe
know
a good
it
time to
is.
sell. You might be close to the top of the market, so you'll be with you.
Right.
Keep it in mind.
And
She said she
and
wants
any
to
questions, we can help you. Yeah, any questions as well. Just a question you have and you want to help on that, I can help you with that as well.
Wonderful.
So call me.
All right, call her. She's also an author. She helps people set their goals and reach their potential, not just talking about it. You know how in the beginning of the year, everybody make these New Year's resolutions, and they don't do a darn thing. When people start talking about that, I said, just do. Don't say nothing. Just do and let people see what you're going to do, okay? But anyway, she has an art to doing that, and she'll help many people. So there's many different reasons that you can give her a holler, okay? Make sure you give her a call. So today, you guys, we have a great topic. But Keith, my topic next week, this may be, I don't know if they don't try to put me off the air with the next one, because I'm really going to talk about these lists of 5 things. If your church are not doing these 5 things, then you need to get up and walk out today. That's what my topic will be.
Oh my goodness! Oh, there you go, Dr. Rosie.
There she goes. She's really getting.
Now
they're letting you back in right now.
You have
they
been
let
nice.
you in the doors right now.
You have been nice for the past 2 years, and they finally let you back in.
Right.
Let you back in and get comfortable. Here you go.
They're gonna keep me off for doors. Oh my God! I'm serious about that.
You're right.
Certain thing, if your church is not doing, you need to get up and walk out now, and put your tithes someplace else, or put it in your grandchild's trust account, or give it to scholarship for somebody. Just do something. Yeah, I mean that. It's time out. No, we too in too bad a shape for church and not to be stepping up.
Right, you need that proper leadership, yes.
They step up with what the white man tell them to do. He told them to make sure all their members get vaccinated so they have a drive going. Y'all see why they don't lock me
Maybe
out
they give them $50,000 away too to take that.
All right. Per head, however members you get.
I guess somebody else's picture is going to be at the door for the ushers not to let them in.
You guys funny.
I'm okay with you, Dr. Rosie. I'll stand side by side with you.
You don't stand with me? Okay, I know I got you.
I'm standing right there with you.
Well, okay.
You kick
Dr. Rosie
out, you kick me out.
I know I'm not in the by myself. God dog it, we got to make some changes. And all that goes along with really our topic today, we're looking at 5 things you can do to reinvent yourself for post-COVID living and survival. 5 things you can do to reinvent yourself for post-COVID living and survival. We're definitely facing a new norm, folks. It's not going back. If you keep, the old saying, if you keep on doing what you've been doing, you keep on getting what you've been getting. Well, you can't even keep on doing what you've been doing. It is a totally new norm. So we might as well face the real reality check. And look at the changes we have to make in our life, and we must not be caught off guard. I'll say that again. Do not be caught off guard because you want to live in a fake, unrealistic world that things is going to turn around now that we can go eat out. Yeah, you can go eat out now. You're free. You're free to be out in the public, but right now, you guys, Keith, did you know you can't hardly rent a car across this country? You know what's going down with that? Some chip that they can't get in the car. So
yeah.
And I was going to buy a car because I was going to give my son my car that I have, my little SUV. But now I should have bought it 2 months ago. Cars have gone up so high, and they tell me that you can't hardly find an economy car, just a high-end car. And people in New Orleans, my friend told me people renting their cars out because people can't get cars on the car lot. So they're making money. People sure turning themselves into some good entrepreneurs. But I don't know about that. Let somebody rent your car. What if they don't bring it back?
When you have a global economy shut down for a year and a half, especially China, because most of your chips are actually made in Asia. The vast majority of 90% of your chips are made in Asia. So when China and Korea and those kind of places shut down or they reduce capacity, because China shut down for darn near 3 or 4 months, and they slowly ramped back up. So they're way behind, and then on top of that, you have what you call the Bitcoin, the Bitcoin surge, where all your chips are actually going to making Bitcoin mining equipment. So all your chips got
Oh, I
sucked
didn't
up.
realize that goes into
In
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, yeah, the Bitcoin has to be mined electronically. There's an electronic accounting system, right? And it's actually open source, so it depends on a bunch of what they call miners around the world. They have all these big machines, big as like mini computers, and they run on what they call GPUs or graphics processing units, and all the chips have gone into that. So
And that's why Bitcoin dropped.
well, Bitcoin,
No,
okay, big.
Elon Musk kind of helped with that.
No, not
Go
really.
ahead.
Okay. This is
Oh, he
something.
did. Oh, he so did.
Okay. This is the way it works. And this is the way it works. What people don't realize is that the Chinese government actually really controls Bitcoin. Believe it or not. Okay.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
reason Bitcoin went up in the first place is because China's allowed their citizens actually use it for exchange. And I think it was I can't remember the name of the company. AliExpress first started accepting Bitcoin as payment for goods and services, right? And that's what caused Bitcoin to go up. So the Chinese government is actually in control of a lot of what you see with Bitcoin, and a lot of them have, at the top, the CCP officials have stakes in Bitcoin, so they'll let it rise up, and then they'll take profits, and then they'll suppress it, and it'll go back down. They did it the last time when I think Bitcoin got up to like 20,000, and then the Chinese government stepped in and suppressed it, and it went down. It went down to
7,000.
7,000, and then look at when China shut down for 3 months, right? Bitcoin went down to like 3,500. Okay,
Yeah, but
Bitcoin.
I still think that he had a little bit to do with that,
No,
because
Elon Musk. No.
Elon Musk bought $1.2 billion worth of Bitcoin.
No, it's not. That's not even. Well, Bitcoin is the cap is like was it $4 or $5 trillion? So it's $100 billion is nothing compared to Bitcoin. The Chinese are in control.
Right.
If they shut it, because they actually suppressed the Bitcoin miners and said you couldn't mine it. That's how Bitcoin actually dropped. And I told people when it got up to 60, I said look for the CCP officials, Chinese Communist government, actually take profit from it. So I said don't be surprised if it drops. That's why it's actually cut in half and right on time. Right, I think it hit 66. I was kind of surprised.
It did. It hit 66,
Right.
and then it dropped to almost 30.
Then it dropped to 27,000, which was according to my chart is where people should have bought it.
Right.
Low. Because I caught the low when it first happened, because I was actually arguing with a friend of mine online. He was telling people that Bitcoin was going to go down to 1,500. I said nope. I said when China's opening back up, and it's on my chart near its bottom. Okay, he should pick it up, and that's when it took off. So basically. So according to my chart, you should buy it. You should buy it around 31, and
it's at 40 now.
Yeah, and probably sell it. Sell it when it gets above, I say 37, 38, and then wait for it to go back down. It's in a range, but I haven't looked at the chart today.
Well,
anyway,
all of that, Keith, it's really kind of in line what we are talking about. The 5 things you can do to reinvent yourself. The real thing that we must face that there is a new norm. That's really what I want people to know. There is a new norm. There's a new sheriff in town, a new norm. So it's no point in you thinking that you're going to go back to the way you used to do it, because it is not going to happen. So you're going to have to recreate yourself, going to have to create a new you. I wrote a book called Creating a New You in 6 weeks, and I think it'd be a good book for you to have, because you need to look at the old ways you're going to have to put away and just adapt to something new. And if people who don't do that are totally going to be left behind, doing the same old thing, putting your money in banks where it's safe and not making any investment that's safe. Those days, people are looking at, why am I letting somebody else make money off of my hard earning by just sitting in the bank when I can invest it just like they're investing. I'm talking about creating a new you, creating new ways, doing things, daring to do things you never did before. Because folks, I'm telling you, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you know what's going to happen. You got to make a change. So I think, number one, the first thing we need to do is take inventory. That's the first thing. You need to stop Now that you feel free, you've taken the mask off, you're free to go, you're free to fly, you're free to buy. Yeah, you're free, but you're not going to, it takes money freedom is really not free, you guys, okay? To really feel the impact of freedom, you're going to have some economy. Because the airlines have gone up. Now that people buck wild, they can go where they want to go, but where's the money? What the lady said, where's the beef? I mean,
everything has gone up.
Everything is gone up.
Yeah.
I was going to have.
You have shortages now. Temporarily,
oh my
you have
God.
shortages.
Well, I mean,
it's temporary.
Have gone up.
It's temporary, but there's shortages. Yeah.
Is it really a shortage? I don't know. You know,
I don't think
so much. There's something made up so they can raise the price. It's bad.
I agree.
It actually is a shortage because when you close down an economy, got to remember this is a just-in-time economy, right? So, so in other words, if you shut down, it wasn't just a local economy; it's a global economy, and basically all of the planet is actually in one big economy. So if you shut it down and different pieces fall off where it can't be manufactured, people can't work, nothing gets produced. So we're temporarily going to have a shortage. They'll be made up a year later. But the thing is, you know, temporarily when the economy opens back up and people go back to work and start producing again, okay, it's going to take time for those items or these products to get back into the chain.
Right. Just like I had planned on having an ADU built. And I got a quote for $35,000 for a little studio, but now that same quote come back to be almost $70,000 because the lumber went up.
The lumber is crazy for a 2x4. It's out of control.
Because if people aren't working in the factories cutting down the timber, guess what happens? Okay, nobody's working. And then people are still using it, and probably not as much, but they're still using it. And then it'll pick back up. But you have a surge in demand. The thing is, it's going to take time for people to get back to work, start producing again. It's going to be a good time for me to go to Mississippi and see how my timber is going. That's true. And also, another big thing that people don't realize is that truckers, right? When things shut down, truckers had no work, so they had to go find other work. So there was a shortage in truckers I was reading that about maybe a month and a half ago, that as things pick back up, there's no truckers that actually move things back and forth anymore. You know, the truckers have to find them. You have to go back and find these truckers and rehire them and put them back out there to get things back rolling again. So it's going to be temporary. Everything won't come back down, but the thing is, eventually it will. But for the next 3 or 4 months, it's going to be high.
Yeah, because these truckers getting their unemployment, so they may not be so eager to cut that.
That's another story altogether. That is another story.
They're not anxious to get back to work, but yes.
Wow. So it's going to be important, to really look at just looking at things that's going to change. If you have to any repair on your house, 2x4, I think went from $2 to like $11 for one 2x4. Yeah. So any building, you're going to have to really look at that. And we're talking about the car. If you were in the market for a car, look what's going to happen. You may not be able to afford it.
Now, you're going to have to wait. I'd say wait. Before you do anything, if you're going to make a purchase, unless you really need it, I say wait 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months.
And then prices should kind of stabilize a little bit.
Well, especially after September, if a lot of states will still have the unemployment going on to September, a lot of people not going back to work till after then.
Most of your red states are already have already actually canceled most of the extra unemployment already. And then the June thing with the moratorium is going to end, so people are going to really have to go back to work. Really go back to work because they're going to need money, so they're going to have to take what they can get. But the thing is, it's going to be uneven. It's going to be uneven. But anyway, let's get into the topic because we can talk about this all day.
I know. It kind of ties in though. So we're looking at number one. I said take inventory. You need to look at yourself. Where you at? Where you at right now? Mm-hmm. Where are you financially? Take a real look. A guy had me laughing last week. He said he owns a used car lot. He talked about the different people. His sales just skyrocketed. And he told me that people would come in trying to buy a car. And he said, what's your monthly income? It's $1,800 a month, 2,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
But they were talking about their unemployment. He said, man, this ain't no job. It was so funny. He said, that unemployment is a job coming in trying to get a car. So you need to look at where are you financially. I think it's a time, as Keith said, if we want to buy something, you need to kind of put some brakes on it. I don't care what's, because things are, we haven't seen the rough part yet because, see, they were giving people food every corner. Everybody was giving food out to make sure nobody was hungry, but that's going to run out, People getting unemployment. There was a lot of things taking place. So I think now that PPP, I believe that has ended. I don't know if the SBA is still giving the EIDL loan. Folks, I mean, it's coming to a halt. That's all I want to say. It's coming to a halt. So you're going to have to reinvent yourself and start doing something differently. You have to look at your physical health. You may have been suffered during COVID. So you got to look at where am I financially? Where am I physically? Now, why am I talking about physical ability? That is important because you have to look at, are you going to have medical bills where you have someone to help you? And then you have to look at all of those things, And then number two, I think reinventing yourself, you need to step outside your comfort zone. Do something that you dare not do. Because a lot of people locked into, well, find your niche and fill it. They were just on that job. I ain't going to take no risk. I know I'm going to get paid. I need a guaranteed income. Folks, this guaranteed income, you better reinvent yourself because we can make more. Many of us can. Some of us are just job oriented. If it's not job, it's welfare. It's something. But those who know better, know you can do better. I'm telling you, have any kind of gumption about yourself. You need to create multiple streams of income. Because Keith, if COVID didn't teach everybody, one thing it should have taught us, that you need to know how to do more than one thing. You need more than one source of income. You need to be able to make something for yourself outside of the traditional conventional job market. So you may have to recreate yourself. What do you do well? What do you do? Maybe you sew, maybe you cook. I've seen some entrepreneurs come out the woodwork. I mean, just set them a cart up on the street and have a whole line of people buying food. One man does peach cobbling. He sit right here on the corner Normandy and Manchester in front of Louisiana Chicken. He goes to certain spots, certain days. So on Saturdays, the people know he's going to be there. And he runs out of his peach cobbler, Keith, every Saturday because they come. Just like going to the farmer's market. They know he's going to be there, so they come and get their sweet. So that's what you call recreating yourself, creating multiple streams of income. That's number two. That is most important, you all, to reinvent yourself. Start doing something that you've never done before. Look inside of you and say, what are my skills that I have not used? What are my talents that's just been lying dormant? You need to go inside of yourself and say, what can I do with the abilities and the knowledge I have to create more income? Even if you're going back to that job, you still need multiple streams of income. I think we should have a stream of income.
Especially now because almost any job is set to be automated, and you never know when it's going to be your turn. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you're a factory worker, truck driver, delivering packages. At some point, there's going to be a machine or a process or an AI to take your job.
So they're looking at having these trucks to roll without drivers, right?
They have them already. The thing is that the biggest thing with automated driving is there's two factors with automated driving. One is the 5G chip for them to actually talk to the computers, the remote computers that actually control all the traffic. And the second thing is insurance. because they haven't settled the liability for insurance in case somebody gets hit or there's a wreck or there's an accident. So those are the two biggest factors that are holding back automated driving, especially for trucks. They were trying to do that the Congress trying to do that back 4 or 5 years ago, and then the truckers kind of bucked a little bit, so they backed off. But the biggest thing is insurance and liability, and the Congress passed the bill, but the Senate held it up. So it's still in holding. If the Senate passed it tomorrow, then there'd be automated trucks out on the road already. They've been experimenting with them in Nevada since 2014. In fact, the U.S. Postal Service has an experimental automated truck run that's going from Phoenix to someplace in Texas. I think it's El Paso.
But you know what's scary about that, Keith?
Mm-hmm.
When look what happened to the gas down south.
Mm-hmm.
You know how someone was able to hack and do something they couldn't. I mean, what if somebody could hack all the cars and everything that's rolling off of this electronic or whatever we call it? You know, that's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
The whole country would be crippled.
It's a possibility, but at that level, it's really, really tough to hack those self-driving cars. I mean, there's so many redundancies built into them now, because that's the first thing they thought of was somebody hacks a self-driving car. So they're incredibly hard to hack unless you're sitting there with the truck itself and actually plugging right into the brain of the truck. You have to physically have the truck. Trying to go through the AI and actually do it through a system, that's really, really tough. In fact, it's a lot easier to hack into the system, what called non-critical systems, say like a gas flow line or even a power supply. But they've been actually building redundancies in these systems for a long time, especially like power plants and stuff like that. They've been doing that for a long time. So, but the thing is, this low-level things like the refineries and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, they're low-level because nobody thinks they're going to hit them until they do.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me give the number out for those who want to talk to us and, give us your 2 cents about what you think and ways that you are reinventing yourself. I know people are making changes. Call us here at 310-928-7733. That's 310-928-7733. And give us a call. Give us some ideas, something that you're doing. We left off talking about creating multiple streams of income, and that is so important. I have a stream, one time, I hate to tell you, but I had a stream of income for every bill I had, okay? I mean, I'm just saying.
Which we were talking about earlier today, which is the cryptocurrency and the stock market. I mean, really understanding and learning that is like a huge advantage. It's a disadvantage if you just go into it blindly. Because
don't put your house note money in.
No.
Exactly. No. But if you study it, because you can study this, when you study and learn, you're not just taking a risk because you're really investing in companies that are going to turn around. I mean, there's companies that in your head, I don't have to tell you. But when we went into hiding, I bought Zoom. And now that we're coming out of hiding, what is going to change? I mean, are the airlines going to change? You have to start investigating different things yourself, and seeing what the stocks are. That's a way of making income, a way of making money because, the big boys, that's how they do it.
And information is out there because when I did it some 25 years ago, you had the books were expensive, the information was expensive, the quotes were expensive. Now most of that stuff is actually free.
Sure.
Okay?
Right.
And the information is basically free. And basically trading stocks and doing any kind of trades is just information. So the barrier to entry is really, really low. In fact, you can if you want to trade, you can pick up a Robinhood app. And basically, with a little study, you can trade. Okay, you don't have to have $5,000-$10,000 like you used to have in an account. So
right. And the other thing, I think everyone should have a stream of income just set aside for an emergency. Because folks, you don't ask for an emergency. You don't call for, hey, come here. You was at John's house last week. When you going to come and break down my plumbing? Just like Shawannah said, she had some plumbing problem last night where water was gushing out, in the bathroom.
I thought it was a lake.
What?
I thought I had a waterfall going on.
So that's why it's important to have an emergency fund. If you have an emergency fund, in other words, let me say, you will have an emergency. Now that's not maybe. You will. So if you have an emergency fund, then you don't have to go and use your credit card with this high rate of interest. A lot of people paying 15 and 20% interest on some of these credit cards. So that's what makes you pull them out, because you don't have an emergency fund when that engine goes out in your car or the air conditioner goes out in your home. So I'm saying, folks, it's time to start looking at life in a different way. And we should have learned that during COVID. And if we want to survive post-COVID, we are going to have to make some changes. And that's one of those changes. Have an account set aside just for an emergency, and that would include having to go to a funeral, or having to take an emergency trip, or having to take off your job without pay because your child become ill, your mother or your spouse. That's what we call emergency fund. So these are some things we're talking about. Being new, coming out of this, reinventing yourself, doing things you didn't do before, so you don't be caught in this situation ever again, no matter what happens. So it's going to be important.
So what would you say, Dr. Rosie, on that account? What would you suggest that people take out of their income monthly or bi-monthly, whatever they have to do, because you have to set aside a certain amount? What do you think, like 20, 30%?
I think they should do at least do more, but if at minimum you ought to do 10%. 10%, even if no more than that, you call a tithing to yourself. Let that at least be your emergency fund.
You know what? I like that 20%. You know why? Because you know why I say 20% a little bit, and this is why I used to say 10% too all the time. But when we tip, we give 20%, so we should tip ourselves 20%.
Okay. Well,
we should tip ourselves. We consider it a tip to ourselves.
Right, and if you have to use some of that money for something else, consider it a loan and pay it back. I want to add that to it. It's really important.
Right.
Something may come up that you have to dibble into your emergency fund, but let it be a loan to the emergency fund. Folks, put that money back, because you have to do that. And these are some things that we need to do post-COVID living and for survival. Because, when you get broke and all the people around you, who was this? I think Ray Charles wrote a song called I'm Busted. He said, I went to my brother to ask for a loan because I was busted. And he said, brother, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. And I was just thinking about calling on you because I'm busted. That's how that's how many of our families are. They don't have, so you really on your own. I'm telling you right now, folks, you are on your own. Financial institutions going to guard themselves. They're not going to be making loans. They're not going to be giving you high rate on credit cards like they used to. It's just going to be a whole change. Everything is going to be harder when it comes to a financial situation. It's just going to be more difficult. Don't you think so?
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead, Shawannah. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, so we definitely have to make those changes, because we have to. A lot of people don't want to go back to work. So what are you going to do differently? If you don't want to go back to work, what are you going to do differently? And if you're going to start your own business, you have to start being a business leader now, a business owner now, because
you should have started. You should have started where you're sitting at home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You had a whole year.
You hit it right on the head. Yeah. A whole year to think of what am I going to do. It's been a year and a half that some people been sitting at home, seeing that jobs are minimizing themselves and having people to work at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the book "Who Moved My Cheese."
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I love that book.
I do too. Everybody, go
The
get
cheese
that
is
book "Who
nowhere to
Moved
be
My Cheese."
found.
I,
Y'all
Nowhere to
better
be
go buy you
found.
some more
I'm missing
cheese.
out.
Oh
Yeah,
God, that book
what
is so good.
the thing is that
Mhm.
you could have learned to have in a year and a half with
Right.
COVID. You could
Right.
have learned how to trade. You could have learned how to
Uh-huh.
code. You could have started an online business. Could have started
Yes.
start selling online merchandise. There's a lot of things you could have
Mhm.
done. Okay, you could have if you had particular skills. Okay, like we could have started training people. Say if you have a particular skill, say if you're a carpenter or whatever it is, you could have gone online, started training videos on YouTube or wherever, and built up a client base. Um, while you're off, because a lot of people don't want
Mhm.
to go back to work because people have listened to Dr. Rosie and Shawannah, and they have multiple businesses going on while they're working.
Let me tell you something funny, you guys.
But it
I
worked.
had
You know what? I removed that ceiling off my head. It's no longer there. I can see all the way up.
Have you ever? I don't think you were born with a ceiling, were you, Shawannah?
You know what? I did. I had a ceiling for a
You did?
second.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. And then I remember it. I swear, I was at work, at a boutique, and that was when the payphones was on the walls, and I did everything. I would sell the clothes. I was good. And she said, "Listen, the phone rang, and it was my boo at the time." So he was on the phone, and she says, "You're at work right now. You can't talk on the phone." I said, "Nobody's in here
oh, she messed
except for
up
you and
then
me."
because Boo was on
I
the
said,
line.
"Nobody's in here
Uh
but
oh.
me and you." I said, "I've already vacuumed. I cleaned up. I did everything, and all I was getting paid was X amount of dollars an hour." And I was like, "No, I don't deserve this." I sold all your clothes, everything out, sold it all out for you. You made a lot of money today. Can I just talk on the phone? She says, "Listen, if you talk on that phone, you got to leave. Okay, you cannot play on the phone." I said, "Well, you know what? I got to leave." I left, and I said, "No more. I'm not going to be told what to do and what not to do." From
That's
there
when,
on, I said, "No, I'm
when
removing that ceiling." I was
that's
17 years old.
well, see, look what Boo made you do. Okay.
I know.
Well, you know what is interesting? I have a brother-in-law who's in um, hospital, and I went to see him. He's suffering from some dementia. So he said to me, "It sure is nice to have an intelligent Jew to come and see you." And I'm looking at him. I said, "What did you say? An intelligent Jew to come and see me?" I said, "Now, where did you get that from?" He said, "Well, that's what we call you." I said, "Now, see, this dementia is coming out." Now he telling on the family, okay? Now I
Oh
know
my
they've been talking
gosh.
about Bishop was.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
I told him, I said, I've had people call me Jamaican, but now I ain't know they called me Jew.
Yes. Tell,
Yeah,
tell them I
Jamaican
accept that. Okay.
yeah, Jamaican would be about right.
But I tell you, it's
Yeah.
interesting. So you're right. When you get tired of being enslaved
Hmm.
psychologically, financially, then you find a way. You have to create your way out of that. And one of the other
Mhm.
things we need to do, I have on the list, number 3. Number 1 is take inventory. I want you all to follow the trend, take inventory. Do we have a caller? Okay. The number is 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733. Number 1 we laid out, you should take inventory. I mean, you just got to stop and take inventory to see
Hmm.
where are you, where you at financially, physically, emotionally,
Hmm.
spiritually. You
Yeah.
got to take a look at that. That's really
If,
important because a lot of people can be changing, that would go to church every Sunday buying all these clothes and doing a whole bunch of stuff. They done got used to watching church on TV. Some people ain't going back, you
and
know.
right that and I'm trying to remember the lady as she told me this when she didn't have a job. She said she stopped and she wrote down everything that she was good at, that she thought she
Uh-huh.
was good at. And then she simply said, okay, now I'm going to reverse it and see if I can turn these into marketable skills.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow, and it's so many people. I mean, do you realize how much money you can make if you can sew?
Mhm.
That's a big
Mhm.
thing now. All these people got fat during COVID. They don't want to throw these clothes away. All you got to do is take a color. Cause I had a lady do it for me. She took a color and went down both sides and looked like it was bought that way. Create a whole new design, a new style. You guys, I'm telling you, if you can sew, you can make a lot of money.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Lot of money. And don't let Uber Eat and all these people knock you out of work. There's still people who would pay you on a weekly basis because
Yeah.
they know
Mhm.
you. They trust you. They would pay you to
Mhm.
go and get groceries for them.
Mhm.
Go take their clothes to the cleaner. Maybe one day a week, get my clothes from the cleaner, go to the market for me. They would pay you
Yeah.
and tip you.
There has apps where people come and take money to clean houses. Clean houses, come
Wow.
clean up. There's in other words, if you're going to have a gig economy, right? And so trying to find a salary job is going to be a little bit more difficult.
And if
So
even if you find one, it may be not enough money to
not
meet your
enough
needs.
money.
We
So
just
my
told you everything has gone up, airlines gone up, and
hmm
food is going up too, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Food has gone up. Food has gone up. Farmers are complaining because there's shortages.
Right.
Because they weren't producing. Because if people aren't buying, they think people are not going to buy, they're going to do what? Slow down in production. Okay,
Mhm.
which is what they did. So now you have a shortage. So temporarily,
Mhm.
there's going to be things are actually going to go up because you do have shortages because they haven't been
Right.
producing this stuff.
Bottom line, the job you had that you were barely making it,
Hmm
you were making it from paycheck to paycheck.
hmm
Mhm.
You're not going to make it from paycheck to paycheck now because why? Everything is going up.
Yeah, everything's going
Your
up.
Everything.
salary
Everything.
didn't go up
Even
with
building a
inflation.
property has gone up. Oh,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
Building
that
a house.
means the
Oh.
house is going to go up.
yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, wow. So the other thing, number four, we said take an inventory. Look at where are you? Like Keith said, what are some skills I have? What are my talents? What do
Mhm.
I have right now that I can turn into uh, a money making for me? What is that? Then you
Mhm.
go ahead and you need to look at creating multiple streams of income. Don't ever be caught with one way of making a living. That's important. Reinvent yourself. Number three, is education. And when I say education, I'm
Okay.
not talking about going to get a college degree. I'm talking about online. I'm talking about skills. One lady told me, because I'm in the hair business, with hair shipment, teaching women
Mhm.
how to set up their own
Mhm.
hair business in their home-based business where they can sell hair. Think about it. Your friend, your sister, sometimes there's 10 people in one house buying hair. Why can't they buy from you? Now you back in church. All you got to do is sit in their back door and start counting them heads, okay? Because 6 out of 10 black women got some hair on their head, wig, weave, braid, or something. So you just get your card and you just sneak up to them. I'm not saying you go to church uh, to do stuff like that. Now I am saying it too. Why not? Why not? They're getting it from someplace. But what I'm saying, it's important for you to learn. But my point is, I asked this young lady because she was making wigs. I said,
Mhm.
"Where did you go to school?" She said, "I learned on YouTube."
Mhm.
YouTube is amazing. And Keith, the wig she made was so beautiful.
Mhm.
She learned on YouTube. All I'm
Yeah.
saying, God, is educate yourself to do something, and you can learn so much just on YouTube. If you learn how to take a desk or something from Office Depot and Home Depot,
Mhm.
if you are good at setting things up, a bookcase. I mean, I struggle with trying to put a darn bookcase up. So I'm just saying, you'd be surprised these little things that people will pay you to do. They would pay you to put stuff together that they buy because nothing comes already put together now. Folks, there are markets that's wide open. So educate yourself. Find out what you like to do. And don't just do it, half do it. Learn how to do it and do it well. Because when you get repeat business, you will always have business. So that's one of the things you want to do. That's number three. Number four, okay, folks, come on, let's get real. You sitting up there with 3 bedrooms. Ain't nobody in that house but you. I know what you're saying. Well, I can't rent a room to somebody because folks are so bad. Folks are so terrible. Then I want to say this to you. You're not the only good person that God made. I'm going to repeat that.
Well,
You're not the only good person that God made. You just have to do your due diligence because it's time to rent. That room could be your retirement income. Can you imagine people renting rooms out for $70,000, $80,000 if a person have access to the whole house? Now, Keith, what can you do? You got a room, you rent that room. Say you rent for $600.
Right.
What if you put that $600 over in a retirement fund for you? I'm just talking about reinventing yourself, folks, and creating something, doing something you haven't done before. That's $600 a month that you can put in a savings for you, or you can invest. That's creating a new you, creating a new way to make money. Okay? That makes sense.
We got a caller? 213?
Yes.
Caller, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Dr. Rosie. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is DeFranco Brox, calling from Los Angeles.
Okay, go ahead.
And Franco, before you make your comment, make sure you call me when you get off because I lost your phone number because I want to talk to you about your book.
Okay, and that's exactly why I'm calling.
Okay, I definitely want you to call me. Did you have a comment also?
We just wanted to, you had mentioned that, that the whole black and brown subject really hadn't been touched on, and it's something that we've been working on for years. And we've been, working on many different angles of it, in the community. We just came from a protest this past Saturday on Normandy and Imperial. We're protesting the sheriff's killing of a young kid who was riding his bike, and I guess they pulled him over because he didn't have a helmet. And I'm not sure exactly what happened. I do know, I'm assuming the kid was scared and, was running away, and they shot him in the back and killed him.
Well, that's a 16-year-old.
Yes.
Okay, I heard something about that on the news.
Yeah, so we were, out there protesting that. I mean, we're out there in the community, and, I just kind of wanted to put that out there that, the relations are there on many different levels, and the similarities are there. And, we need to focus on that and stop focusing on the differences and fighting about the differences. And my book touches on all that. So hopefully I'm going to give it to you and get this thing published and get it out there to the public. But I definitely wanted to, show you some love for what you've been doing. And I don't know you that long or that personally, but I've talked to a lot of people in the community who do know you and have said nothing but good things, about you and your work in the community. So I just wanted to stop in and give you some love.
Well, I'm glad you called because I didn't know how to find your number and I had lost it. And for you to call, that is absolutely incredible. So give me a call and I'm going to call you from home tonight. But call me later today so I can go over what I've already read in your book. But, folks, we have a lot of things to fight for. In fact, getting ready to call a town hall meeting because I was just informed that down like near Crenshaw, 43rd Street, all around in that area, they had yellow trucks over there putting up signs that if any car that's over a certain feet were going to be towed. So you know what that's about. That's trying to tow all of these homeless people who are in these mobile homes who are parking in certain areas. And if we can't stand by and let that happen. I mean, so what they want to do, in other words, just tow your vehicle that you sleep in. Now, if we're going to become that careless and allow people to do that to people and we don't make some noise, something is wrong. So what are they supposed to do? Hang from the sky? They can't sleep in their mobile home. At least it's good they have a mobile home. They're not in one of those tents. So when I put the word out to cry out, I mean, I want people to come and rally. We cannot let that happen. You can't be taking people vehicle because they sleeping in on the street. What they supposed to do? Then you create a damn parking lot and say, "Oh, you all can park over here." You know, it's insane.
I agree.
I'm
totally
just
agree
saying,
with
yeah, that's they think ain't nobody noticing, but we got watchdog for justice around here.
right.
So, and
Well,
Franco,
if I can interject on that, I'm actually part of an organization called Artists United to End Homelessness, and my wife also works for the county Department of Mental and Health Services, and she's a program manager, but she helps people with housing and has access to a lot of programs as well. So at a later time, I can get you some information that maybe on another show you can put out for some folks out there that there is resources out there for the homeless, and us as artists are also working with the homeless, and working on things to end homelessness as well. So yeah, it's definitely a problem.
oh, that's good, Franco. Then you have some information, great information that can bring to us anything that can help the homeless. If we don't get the information out there, people don't know there's help. That's the saddest thing about our community, is that when there is help available, the people don't know. That's well, I didn't know you could do that, because this is the type of information other people disseminate in their synagogue, in their churches, wherever they're gathering. This is the kind of information they are sharing. So we just have such a lack of information being disseminated in our community. So I appreciate that. And so we'll definitely stay intact, and work on that. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. So call me right after this show on my cell number. Okay?
On the 213 number?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna jump off, but I just wanted to reach out to you and show you some love, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much, Franco.
Have a blessed day.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So you guys, we're going to, educate ourselves and educate me to look within yourself. It's going back to number one, taking the inventory, looking, saying, what do I have? Well, I can do this. Okay, you can do it, but if there's a class, if there's a course, if there's a seminar that can help you learn how to do it better, then we're saying do that. Don't just jump up and run with an idea. Learn how to market. Learn how to get your share of it. So it's really about reinventing yourself. Really, it's going to mean re-educating yourself. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Mm-hmm.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do it because automation is not going to stop. It's actually going to get better. It's actually going to accelerate.
Right.
So it's best to do it now before you get in the bind where you have to get put out of your house, lose your job, put on the street. Do it now. In other words, I think it was Nicole Foster's. You got to buy yourself a learning curve. You can't grow crops when you're hungry. Okay, the food has to be ready of when it's time to eat. Okay. If you're starving to death, that's not the time to actually start learning how to grow food. Okay, it's not a good idea. So before your job is actually replaced or automated or whatever it is, it's time to learn. Buy yourself a learning curve. Get ahead of the curve.
Because they're going to automate, right?
You know they're going to automate it.
What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? I mean, if COVID did nothing else, will show you that you are replaceable.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And I bet
really
there are
fast.
people who thought thought they could never be replaced. Oh my God. They thought they had it made in the shade, and look what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That workplace don't need all the people they had before, because they're looking at all the wasted time. You have employees, you have 10 in one office, one talking to everybody, stopping them from doing their work. Get up to go to the bathroom, stop and talk to everybody on the way there, stay 20 minutes herself, take 10 powder breaks, and then when she come back, she talks to everybody. So not only has she not worked, but look how many other employees. This thing is funny, isn't it?
Makes me help not work.
Yes. So now
Yes.
they're looking at, no, we can cut down on our overhead. Some of these office building rents is going to go up too, because they're going to be struggling, because
Yeah.
a lot of these big businesses are saying, I don't need all this space.
Employees are wanting to work from home anyway.
Yeah.
They want to work from home.
They want to work from home, and that's what they're seeing now. I said, because like I said, they're finding out that they're finding out that hey, I can work I can actually work 3 jobs for the time of one, because I can have multiple things going. I can actually multitask at home and have an online business, record a video for a training, and do my job.
It's kind of
and they're
like,
you know what? We need to watch you, what you're doing. They don't want you to make extra money.
They
need you to come back in.
But at least you're not all tired. You're at home. You're there with your kids. You're not paying for parking every day. You're not paying for gasoline. So in a way you look at it, it's really beneficial to work at home. But you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of, I guess we call the industrial age, when people were picking cotton and chopping cotton, and then they invented the cotton machine. We can go all the way back and look at that. And then once they invented the cotton machine, and they was able to kill the weeds in the cotton, and they no longer needed the slaves. They were being replaced with automation. Folks, it's the same darn thing happening right now, isn't it, Keith?
Yes. Yeah, that's why they call it the 4th Industrial Revolution. In fact, you should pick up that book, because they actually do a good job of laying it out about what their vision of the future is, as far as the money people are concerned. In fact, they're calling people that work, they're calling them the human cloud. In other words, instead of it works like the internet. So instead of hiring people, you just hiring people actually as employees, as salary employees. You just hire them as you need them. So if you need somebody to do a website, or you need somebody to sell real estate, okay, instead of Shawannah, instead of having them in an office, you call up Shawannah and say, hey, Shawannah, okay, how much will you charge me to do this or that, or this part of real estate, or get information from me? How much will you charge me? So
it's like cafeteria.
It's like cafeterias. It's like, like what do they call that? What do they call it? When you go to eat with all the food, what do they call that?
Buffet.
A buffet.
Yeah,
It's a buffet. Yeah.
Smuggler's board. That's the way it is, So people better wake up, you guys, my friends. You better wake up and smell the coffee, because it's nowhere to go when there's no job. And for the business people, I really want to say I really feel sorry for a lot of small businesses, because they were not putting in enough money. Well, they wasn't making it, so they couldn't put in. Some of them made and just didn't put in. They don't have unemployment. They can't even get disability. Folks, we better start really thinking about this thing. And the other thing, we said, take inventory. Where are you? Financial, physical, emotional, all of that. Make sure you do a budget. Take a look at what you're spending. If you write a budget down, if you write down where your money is going, then you look at what can I cut. And I'm telling you, I guarantee you can cut 50% from your kitchen.
Oh, yes.
You can cut 50% from your kitchen. You can look at in fact, you can get my book called Getting Out of Debt Made Simple. Show you 75 ways to save money. You see people running in washing a T-shirt at a time and all this kind of stuff. Everybody in the house got to wash separate. Put them clothes in there and wash them together. You guys don't have any type of disease. Your family, what's going on with this stuff? It's reinventing yourself, saving money, cutting them lights off. Every light on in the house, ain't nobody even in the room. Go through there, and if they don't stop, just screw the bulb. They think it's out. Shit. And we talked about sharing home, co-buy real estate. Now, Tim thinks somehow that the rent is going to come down. Now, I don't know why he's thinking that.
It will. Shawannah probably will know more about that than we will.
He said because people in need to pay the note. So what you guys think? You think rent's coming down?
Well, the thing is, it depends. It will temporarily, because what happens if all of a sudden there's a lot of vacant apartment units? Prices
but is there a lot of vacancy? Because I heard people ain't moving.
Well, to be very honest with you, The vacancies, you have a few people that have moved out of your units because of COVID, due to COVID, because a lot of students were renting homes out close to the colleges. So what happens is they move back home out of state, back to their parents' homes. So now you have that vacancy there. So you did have more people going out into the rental market, renting. So the properties, I find my rentals have sat on the market a lot longer than normal when they come vacant. It may take me a month to get a decent tenant. I mean, it's hard to get a decent tenant as well because you're scared just to let anybody into your unit as well because you don't have to pay rent. As soon as you get in there, you're giving them the paperwork saying, listen, you don't have to pay rent because of COVID. All these papers you have to give, by law. And these papers help people not pay the rent, and not realizing that if you don't pay the rent, pretty soon this is going to be over with. So yes, we will be overwhelmed by, I think we will be pretty soon at the end of September. They're going to be lifting a lot of things. Properties are going to go to auction now. People that weren't paying, you're going to see more properties go on the market. Yeah. And the reason why the property values have increased so dramatically is because there's no inventory. Yeah. And there's no inventory because we're not even allowed to do trustee sales anymore. Yeah. Properties going to auction. Yeah. So, I think we will have a lot of rentals, and I think we will have a lot of properties pretty soon.
But do you think that means that the rent will go down?
Supply and demand, right? So if supply goes up and demand's not there, because people don't have jobs or money, then it's temporarily the price has to go down. But the thing is, how
you're going to want to get a good tenant.
Yeah, so
you want a good tenant.
Trying to get a good tenant when people don't have jobs, people laid off. That's going to really be a mess because they want you to make 2 times what you're earning.
People. Anytime there's a crisis, people get awfully flexible. So.
But you want to see, and homeowners or landowners want to see that the person have income saved.
Yeah.
So that little. Yeah. So what you was talking about saving that money.
You get them up in there and they can't pay their rent. You ain't seen
exactly.
Yeah. Right. So the thing is, it's gonna take a minute to shake out. But the thing is, so it's gonna be kind of uneven over the next. I say this year is gonna be really uneven because right now you don't have any units because people are still in them, even though they're not paying.
Oh yeah.
So at the end of this month,
but you say even though they're not paying, they're still occupied.
They're still occupied,
right? They do,
So you can't charge them because there's people are still in it, and the few there are out there. The landlords are actually going to want more money because because they want to make sure that they get their money because they've already had tenants that may not have paid or the risk of them not paying, so they're actually going to charge you more. The thing is that should shake out within by August, September, because once all this stuff gets lifted and they start processing all these people out, then you're going to have a glut of units and houses on the market. And it's going to take time for that to shake out.
It'll be hard to qualify because people's credit have gotten bad doing. This is going to really be a big ripple effect behind this kind of stuff.
They will find a way to qualify people to get this economy back on the market. If they have to give landlords and banks guarantees, you can't have this many people out in the street. They're not going to allow it. So if people have a job and have income.
They have allowed all this. How you not going to allow it? They don't care. People are
I tell you what,
on the street. But you know what? Let me tell you this, Keith. This is what I believe about the homeless. Mm-hmm. We always talk about the government needs to do something for the people, the homeless people. But you know what? We need to do something about the homeless people. We need to come together as a group and understand that if a person is homeless on the street, that could be you or me on the street, and I would want someone to help me. Mm-hmm. So I think instead of waiting for somebody to come up with some magical cure for the homelessness, we need to come up with something to help. One person helps one person, or 5 people help one person.
Here we got to understand, too. what we really need to do, and this is a whole nother show, we need to really revisit our mental illness help, because a lot of those people homeless wouldn't even stay in a house if you put them in it. They're mentally ill. And I don't know why this country is not facing the fact that we'll push people into mental illness, and so much stuff have happened that we have a mental illness crisis. That's why the jail is full of people. Mental ill crisis, the homelessness, mental ill crisis, and they don't want to touch it for some reason. I don't know why. But I think we're going to see a lot of bankruptcies too. I think we're going to see a lot of bankruptcies.
The thing is, there's so many is, you know, like the last time with the 2008, 2009 crisis, there people, it took like 18 months to get people out of a house that had been foreclosed on, because there's not enough people to actually process all these things, which is another thing that people can actually do. Okay. If you get training to actually process it, to actually get people out of homes and get the stuff out of people's homes, apartments and stuff like that. That's a business. Trying to clean up apartments where people just get evicted. They leave all their stuff.
Absolutely.
And that's what happened last time.
Well, I'm looking at this thing, and I know we got to get off here. It says that in 25 states, more than 4 million workers will see their benefits slashed by at least $1,200 a month in June or early July. Wow.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay, you guys, well, we're blessed above, so we need to just be thankful and be grateful and realize that we contributed to it. But, Keith, I think there was something on the board from Dr. J. Read it before we close off.
Okay, hold on. Let's see, we are now officially in the economic collapse that many of the underground economists have predicted for many years now. That's from Dr. J. Collapse maybe too, I wouldn't put it that way.
You hadn't gotten that far yet?
I don't think so. I think I think the best term to use is what the World Economic Forum actually used, which is the Great Reset. A lot of stuff is going to get reset as far as jobs, economy, how you use money. All that stuff is going to get reset. And in other words, all this stuff that's coming is going to get accelerated. Collapse, I wouldn't put it that way. If it's going to be collapse, then all bets are off, because it's not going to be just in one place. If the United States collapses, all the other dominoes will fall too, and you're going to be in a world of hurt. So I don't think we'll see a collapse. But the thing is, a downturn is going to feel like a collapse, but a downturn is what you're going to see, and a switch over to another system. That's what people have to get ready for, in my opinion.
Okay, you got the clock on the wall, so that's all. Remember, next week I'll send out our topic, and, hope this is not the last show for me after that. Hope Donna Goin wrote a book called I Write No More.
Dr. Rosie, we're going to be singing that song. Ain't no stopping us now.
Okay.
We're going to keep it going, Dr. Rosie.
We're going to have a what is called a public service announcement. Shawannah, Dr. Rosie need a good church home to go to.
And Keith don't care because he wasn't going nowhere. All right, you guys have a great day.
We'll say if you're right, you won't be on the show. So make sure you're right.
Okay, you guys be blessed.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.